Have you ever noticed that the more desperately you chase something, the further it seems to slip away? It's almost as if the universe is playing a game with you. When you run after your desires with all your might, they become harder to attain. But the moment you let go, when you stop obsessing over the outcome, things start falling into place effortlessly. Why does this happen? What is the hidden principle behind this mysterious phenomenon? Today, we're going to uncover the secret behind this paradox that very few people truly understand. We live our entire lives in pursuit of something: success, love, happiness, wealth. We push ourselves to the limit, believing that the harder we strive, the sooner we will achieve our dreams. Society has conditioned us to believe that if we don't chase our goals with relentless effort, we will fall behind. But have you ever noticed that when you desperately try to control an outcome, things don't go as planned? No matter how much effort you put in, it feels like the goalpost keeps moving further away. This happens because of a psychological and energetic principle. When we chase something with a sense of lack, we unknowingly send out signals of desperation. And desperation repels. Think about it. When someone is overly clingy in a relationship, the other person tends to pull away. When you hold on to sand too tightly, it slips through your fingers. The same principle applies to life. But when you stop chasing, when you relax, trust the process, and allow things to flow naturally, everything you desire starts coming towards you. This is not about giving up. This is about shifting your mindset. It's about moving from scarcity to abundance, from attachment to faith. Have you ever noticed how some of the best opportunities, the most fulfilling relationships, and the greatest successes come when you least expect them? That's because, in those moments, you are not resisting, you are allowing. So, how do you apply this principle in your life? How do you strike a balance between effort and surrender? Stay with me till the end of this video, because I'm about to share some life-changing insights that will transform the way you attract success, happiness, and abundance. We can control the outcome. But here's the more you obsess over results, the more resistance you create. When you are fixated on the end result, you create pressure that limits your ability to take inspired, calm action. True power comes from focusing on the process, your actions, and your mindset, not the outcome. Here's when you focus only on results, you disconnect from the present moment. Every action you take should be rooted in the belief that your effort is enough. The moment you start obsessing over how and when things will happen, you introduce stress and resistance into the equation. Instead of being present, you're living in anxiety, trying to control something that's beyond your influence. When you detach from the outcome, you shift your focus to what you can control, your actions and your responses. This allows you to move through life with more ease, more clarity, and more confidence. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather wish that what happens happens as it should, and you will be happy." Think about that for a moment. True happiness comes from accepting life as it is without needing it to unfold exactly as you want it. It's about trusting that everything is happening in its own time, according to a bigger plan, and that what's meant for you will come naturally when the time is right. When you let go of your attachment to the outcome, you release the mental clutter and allow yourself to enjoy the process. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, let's call her Lily, was deeply focused on achieving a specific goal, career milestone. Every day she worked tirelessly, but no matter how much effort she put in, things weren't moving as fast as she had hoped. She was frustrated and exhausted, constantly wondering why things weren't happening faster. One day a mentor advised her, focus on doing your best every day and detach from the outcome. Trust that it will happen when it's meant to. Lily took that advice to heart. She stopped obsessing over the when and how and focused on being the best version of herself each day. Over time, opportunities began to align and things fell into place with ease. So how do you detach from the outcome? First, focus on your actions. Give your best effort without getting attached to when the results will show. Second, let go of perfection. Trust that what happens is meant to happen. And finally, stay present. Don't get lost in the future. Trust the process and the timing of life. At the end of the day, detaching from the outcome allows you to embrace the journey, focus on your actions, and let go of the need for control. When you do this, you'll find that the results you desire come naturally and effortlessly. Number 2. Master your mindset. Let's dive into a powerful truth. Your thoughts shape your reality. Every day we're bombarded with distractions, worries, and external pressures. But the most important thing you can control in life is your mindset. When you master your thoughts, you gain control over how you experience the world. A calm, focused mind has the power to attract solutions effortlessly, while a scattered, reactive mind can keep you trapped in frustration and confusion. Here's the A positive. Calm mindset doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means approaching them with clarity and purpose. Life isn't always easy, but how you respond to challenges defines your experience. When your mind is clear, you become more creative, more resourceful, and more open to opportunities. You stop reacting from fear or stress and start responding with calm, collected power. This shift allows you to see solutions where others see obstacles. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Think about that. Your happiness isn't dependent on your circumstances. It's dependent on how you interpret them. When you control your thoughts, you control your perception. And when you control your perception, you shape your experience. The quality of your thoughts is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If your mind is filled with negativity, doubt, or worry, it's going to be much harder to manifest success or feel at peace. But if your thoughts are grounded in clarity, optimism, and focus, you'll find yourself moving toward the life you want with ease. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Rachel, had always struggled with stress. She was always racing against the clock, overwhelmed by work, and constantly anxious about the future. One day she decided to change her approach. Instead of letting stress dictate her actions, she focused on mastering her mindset. She started practicing mindfulness, taking time each day to quiet her mind and reframe her thoughts. Instead of worrying about everything that could go wrong, she focused on what she could control: her actions, her responses, and her attitude. Over time, her stress began to fade. Opportunities appeared where she once saw only roadblocks. And she began to see challenges as opportunities to grow, not obstacles to avoid. So how do you master your mindset? First, become aware of your thoughts. Start paying attention to what's running through your mind. Are you thinking positively, or are you feeding yourself negativity? Second, reframe your thinking. Instead of thinking, "This is too hard," try, "This is a challenge I'm going to overcome." And finally, stay grounded in the present. When you focus on what you can control in the here and now, the future becomes much less overwhelming. At the end of the day, a calm and focused mind is your greatest asset. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. So take control of your mindset and you'll find that solutions, opportunities, and peace come to you naturally. Your reality is shaped by the quality of your thoughts. Choose them wisely. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights. Trust in divine timing. Let's talk about one of the most important principles in life: trusting in divine timing. It's easy to get caught up in the rush, especially when we want something badly. We push, we hurry, we try to force things to happen. But here's the rushing leads to mistakes. When we rush, we miss the lessons, the details, and sometimes even the opportunities that would have helped us grow. It's in the stillness, in the waiting, that the most profound changes happen. When you trust in the process, you give life the space to unfold at the right time. Here's the reality: everything unfolds at the right time when you remain patient. The problem is, most of us are conditioned to expect instant results. We live in a world where everything is fast. Fast food, fast information, instant gratification. But some things, the truly important things, can't be rushed. They need time to develop, to grow, and to mature. Just like planting a seed, if you rush the process, you damage the potential for it to bloom. But if you trust in the timing of nature, in the divine order of things, you will see the beauty of everything coming together when it's meant to. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly. That's a powerful reminder. The things that are truly worth having, whether it's success, wisdom, relationships, or even personal growth, don't happen overnight. They require patience, persistence, and trust. You don't need to rush or force anything. Just keep doing the right things, keep showing up, and know that the right opportunities will come at the right time. The universe has a way of working things out when you stop trying to control everything. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, let's call her Sophie, was obsessed with achieving success in her career. She worked tirelessly, pushing herself harder and harder, trying to make things happen on her own terms. But the more she rushed, the more frustrated she became. Every door seemed to close, and she felt like she wasn't making progress. One day, she decided to take a step back. She stopped forcing things and began focusing on her growth instead, improving her skills, building her network, and trusting that things would unfold when the time was right. Over time, opportunities started appearing naturally. What she had once forced now seemed to flow effortlessly into her life. Sophie realized that when she let go of the need to rush, she opened herself up to the right timing. So how do you trust in divine timing? First, let go of the need for control. Stop trying to force things to happen when they're not ready. Second, focus on your growth, not the outcome. Invest in yourself and trust that the right opportunities will present themselves when you're ready. And finally, be patient. Understand that everything has its time, and rushing only leads to frustration at the end of the day. Trusting in divine timing is an act of faith. When you let go and allow life to unfold, you create the space for the right things to come to you. Don't rush the process. Trust that everything will happen when it's meant to. Act with purpose, not desperation. Let's talk about the difference between acting with purpose and acting out of desperation. It's easy to get caught in the rush, especially when you feel like time is running out or that success is just beyond your reach. In these moments, the temptation to act out of desperation can be strong. You push, you chase, you scramble for results. But here's the desperation repels success. When you act out of fear or urgency, you only attract more of the same frustration, desperate confusion, and missed opportunities. True success comes when you act with calm, consistent purpose, not out of frantic energy. Here's the reality. Calm, consistent action draws success toward you. Success doesn't come from force. It comes from steady movement in the right direction. When you know where you're going and take purposeful steps, success will follow naturally. It's not about rushing or trying to outpace everyone else. It's about moving with clarity, confidence, and intention. When you move with a clear purpose, you magnetize success, and people can feel that calm confidence. Desperation, on the other hand, always leaves a mark. People can sense it when you're just trying to get ahead quickly, and it doesn't inspire trust or attraction. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epic teachers once said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This is the essence of purposeful action. It's about first knowing who you want to become. Your vision, your values, your purpose, and then taking the actions that align with that. When you align your actions with your inner purpose, your steps become more confident and focused. You're no longer moving out of desperation, but from a place of deep alignment and belief in yourself. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Jack, was struggling in his career. He was pushing hard, trying to get noticed, chasing opportunities left and right. But no matter what he did, he wasn't seeing the results he wanted. One day, he realized something. He had been acting from desperation. He was so focused on getting ahead that he wasn't focusing on the why behind his actions. Once he took a step back, he started acting with more purpose. Thanks for watching.